end of the millennium was a time of change and a time of hope for a new beginning. It was a time of growth, development, and headlining events that shaped America into the nation we know today. Between the years 1996 and 2000, Americans experienced many hardships, but they also experienced a time of great advancement and prosperity.
While there was a lot of suffering during this time period, there were many advancements in technology. In 1996, Nintendo 64 was released in America. Its main competitors at the time were PlayStation and Sega Saturn. The gaming system was released with 2 games, Super Mario and Pilot Wings. Americans could purchase it for $199, and it was sold in 8 different colors and sizes. Even now, Nintendo 64 is one of the best-known gaming consoles in the world, and the Nintendo company helped to pave the way for modern 3D gaming. The federal government shutdown of 1996 is an event that follows a pattern of what seemed like never-ending hardships during the end of the millennium. During this year, government workers who were non-essential did not work. This was caused by problems between President Bill Clinton and Congress over topics such as funding for Medicare, education, and other issues. President Clinton refused to pass the bill that would interfere with his goals in the areas of education and the environment. The shutdown lasted for 28 days and ended on January 6th of 1996. The president's approval rating severely fell during the shutdown, but after it was over, they rose to the highest they had been in quite some time. Many even said that this shutdown helped in his re-election.
Although this time period brought along with it a great amount of prosperity, tragedy came along with it as well. July 27, 1996 was a day that changed the lives of many Americans and brought attention to the underlying problems our nation possessed. This year, the Olympics were held in Atlanta, Georgia, and sparked the first of 4 bombings by Eric Robert Rudolph. 111 people were injured, 1 was killed, and another died from a heart attack shortly afterwards. Rudolph was motivated by the government's sanctioning of abortion on demand, and therefore wanted to force the canceling of the Olympics. Rudolph was not identified until the completion of 3 more bombings in 1997. It was an honor for America to host the Games, but the drastic turn of events on July 27th helped demonstrate the tragedy and hardships America experienced as well. With technology continuing to advance, it came as no surprise that the entertainment industry was booming. December 19, 1997 marked the release of The Titanic by Paramount Films. This film would soon become the biggest total box office film in history, with over $1 billion, and the movie with the most Academy Awards with a total of 13. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, the film was released in 3,265 theaters, easily becoming the most popular and biggest entertainment accomplishment of this era.
Oh, forget it, Boyle. You'll never get next to the likes of her.
Don't come any closer. Oh, let go.
No, you won't.
You are not to see that boy again.
Even in the midst of hardships in America, there was some prosperity and growth for the people. We find success in the publishing of the top-listed series, Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling took off in writing her books for a while, until she ran into issues with publishing. But then, in 1997, she got an advance of money to write her books, and finally got published. She got published in the UK first, and it wasn't until 1998 that her first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, released in the United States. The following year, the second book of the series was published, named Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Though she had a slow start to publishing, there was a lot of good things that came out of the books she wrote. Her books were cynically looked upon because they were said to be too long for kids to read. After being released, that was not the case, and the kids of America went crazy for the books. It was a moment of growth and happiness for the people of America and for this half-century's reputation. It was a struggle for America during these 5 years. Even if there was some advancements, there was plenty more steps there. In 1998, the President Bill Clinton was impeached from office. Even though he was a very popular president, he made a mistake. It was not a political issue, but his personal life caught up with him. While married to Hillary Clinton, he had an affair with an intern of the office. They met in 1995 and ended in 1997. When questioned in court, he denied ever having sexual relations with that woman. Therefore, he was impeached on obstructing justice in a sexual harassment legal suit, as well as perjury in the federal court. In the end of December 1998, he was voted to be impeached by the House of Representatives. Then, in February of 1999, the Senate voted to acquit Clinton, and therefore he was not to be removed from office, but to finish up his term. First, For America, this was a downfall to lose a favorite president because of the affair he had.
A significant event during this time period is the Y2K scare of 1999. This event caused turmoil and fear throughout America. The Y2K scare was a problem that involved computers in the new year. Many people thought that computers wouldn't be able to change the date from 1999 to 2000, that they would shut down completely. By this time in history, many Americans' daily lives were ruled by computers and technology. This paranoia caused many people to believe that this would be the end of civilization. The mass chaos that ravaged America at this time is a perfect example of one of the many hardships at the end of the millennium. A tragedy that swept across America during the end of the millennium was the Columbine shootings in Columbine, Colorado. On April 20th, 1999, two Columbine high school seniors, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, killed 12 students and one teacher. The boys had a complex plan that involved a firebomb to distract firefighters, bombs in the cafeteria, and almost 100 other explosives and car bombs. 21 students were injured as well, and the two seniors committed suicide. The reason for this attack was never known. The bloodbath that occurred at Columbine High School sparked more emphasis on gun control and school security. It also caused a panic over violent video games, social outcasts, and their effects on.
In 2000, there was a dreadful terrorist attack on the Navy destroyer, the USS Cole. It was en route to the Persian Gulf in order to put into effect an oil embargo against Iraq. The crew on the ship was made up of 290 people, and 17 of those were killed and 39 others were wounded badly. There were two suicide bombers who attacked with explosives in their own boat that were up next to the USS Cole. This marked the first huge international terrorist attack on our American facilities since the 1998. It was also the deadliest against a U.S. Navy vessel since 1987. It was tragic and upsetting for Americans, but we bounced back from it, as all great nations do.
Although sporting events and technology made up a large portion of American society, a government was necessary in order to keep the nation intact. The year 2000 marked the beginning of George W. Bush's first term after a controversial election against Democratic Representative Al Gore. Bush won with 271 electoral votes over Gore's 266. What made this an unusual election was that although George W. Bush won the election, Al Gore received more popularity votes, making this only the fourth election where this was the case. Bush won over more states and had a higher percentage, but the fact that Gore's popularity numbers were higher caused controversy in the American government. This event showed not only prosperity with a new government figure, but also showed the hardships, controversy that came along with it.
As our country endured these years of struggle, perseverance was key part of making it through. The headlining events that rose up during this time shaped America, and we grew as a stronger nation because of it. Although we faced hardships, it was from this struggle that we developed prosperity and advancement for the American people.